reason we started any of this, of course, is to help other people, but it was to change the culture. It was to change the way that we talked about mental health within the military. I myself, being an overcomer of trauma, while I haven't come from the military, I understand PTSD and its effects and how it likes to isolate.
Our next guest really moving us with her story about how she responded to her father's death on 9/11 and how that inspired her to create an organization which helps veterans and their families struggling with mental illness. So for more on this, we're going to welcome in the president and executive director of Trails of Purpose, Kayla Aristivo. Kayla, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Rachel. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, as we just heard a bit in that clip, the reason you started Trails of Purpose was not only to help other people, but to change the culture, as you say. So how does your nonprofit do that?
Well, we do that by offering an alternative therapy, by offering a therapy that's outside based, that works with animals, that's not in a medical setting, if you will. And also we do that by not accepting insurance. It's really cool that while we could accept TRICARE, we choose not to. And that's in an effort to keep our services completely confidential, meaning there's no paper trail there. So a lot of the times, one of the biggest stigmas within the military for receiving mental health care is the fear that the command will find out. Top security clearances being compromised. And so people keep their head down, and our service members feel that they can't reach out. Their hands are tied. By us fundraising to sponsor these sessions and not needing to accept insurance, we're really fighting that stigma that you can come out and receive mental health care without other people knowing or having any type of consequences for it.
When you read the statistics of how many people suffer in silence, eventually speaking out, almost sometimes when it's far too late, it's so important, the work that you're doing. And I want to say, Kayla, I'm so sorry for your loss and your family's loss, but I know you've really turned that pain into purpose, as they say, but it is so true here. How has your history really affected how you interact with these people?
Yeah, I think I put it this way. I had a lot of underlying anger in my life from the injustice that was done to me as a child, losing my father in the World Trade Center, and the terrorism, and how somebody else who never had even met me could take so much from me. And I realized through my experiences and exposures to the military that that's a lot about how our service members feel. They're angry about the injustice, about the people who have been killed. They're the ones that they served alongside. And so I really found relatability there, and that anger that drove me personally into some really unhealthy life choices. And that's the same within the military community. And so I found it relatable. And I figured if we can address the anger and normalize that it's okay to have those feelings, maybe they wouldn't be turning to other unhealthy coping skills, which would then in turn, hopefully, change the culture of the entire military.
And that's, of course, as you're touching on changing the entire culture, you got to start with the big picture. From my understanding, though, you aren't just working with veterans, you're also working with their families and the relationship between the two. How important is that when treating something as delicate as PTSD?
So important. The family unit operates as a whole. And as a military service member, they understand the importance of camaraderie and working together. However, family is personal. And so often I find our service members feel most in control at work and completely out of control at home, meaning their anger and their frustrations, the stressors from their job come out to their family members most. So if we could bring in spouses for marriage counseling or children so that they can talk to their mother or father after difficult deployments and fill them in on their lives, right? That's so important. I really believe that your work ethic a lot of the time starts within your personal life at home. If your personal life at home is unhealthy, how can you go into work every day and have a healthy way of leading others?
No, absolutely. What happens at home continues to carry throughout your whole life, not just in the office as well, I'm sure. Now, Kayla, I also want to touch on, you do have a Trails of Purpose Veterans Day fundraiser, a $2,500 goal. How can someone get involved that's watching today?
Absolutely. So we are on every type of social media platform out there. You can also donate through PayPal. You can go ahead and just do Google www.trailsofpurpose.com. That's our URL. Donate is the first button that you'll see there. Again, all of our services are completely sponsored in order to keep all of the barriers at a minimum. So when you come in and when you partner with Trails of Purpose, you're really working to sponsor mental health care for the military directly.
It's something so important and so very needed. We thank you so much for all you're doing. And Kayla Aristebo, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.